Good morning and welcome here to the annual Heart Men's Wrestling Media Day. I'm your host, Tony Hager, with I Wrestle. Next up, we are excited to talk with the head coach at Graceland Yellow Jacket. It's one of my favorite mascots that is out there. I mean, at the high school or collegiate level, I'm not sure why. I just love the Yellow Jackets. So, head coach Zach Mullins and athlete Ryan Anderson is joining us today. So, welcome, guys. The season's here. I'm excited.
We're excited too, Tony. Thanks for having us.
How's preseason going? You kind of have expectations, right, of going into every year, anticipation. How have the guys kind of transitioning from summer into winter wrestling?
Yeah, it's been really good so far. We try to put them through a pretty intensive preseason, a preseason that we can really rely on their conditioning. So when we get in the room, we can really focus on technique a lot for the first couple of weeks. It's been good. We have a good group of returners. Ryan's leading that group, and we brought in 20 new guys in this recruiting class, and trying to get those two groups to mesh has been a big focus for us. So a lot of team building, a lot of trying to get the guys on the same page, working towards the same goals. So, we've been really happy with the preseason, how it's gone so far.
20 guys is a lot. That's a different that's a changer for your program. Obviously, a lot of different faces and personalities and whatnot. And obviously you've have Ryan here by your side for a reason. Why, I want you to introduce him first, and then we'll get into kind of why he's your guy next to you.
Yeah, Ryan, he's from Florida. He's come all the way up here to Iowa and endured these cold winters for opportunity to chase his dreams and his goals in wrestling. And each year he's been lucky enough actually to be Joe Lupton's practice partner the last 2 years, who was a two-time All-American for us. And he stayed summers, from freshman to sophomore year and sophomore to junior year, and was really committed to it. And this year we named him a team captain. He's our ASA, Association of Student Athletes president, really involved on campus, and really just a huge example of exactly what we want in our program. So he's been leading the charge. He's been helping us this preseason get those 20 guys on board with how we function, what we're about, where we're trying to go, and he's done an awesome job so far.
Iowa, Florida. I like that you chose Iowa, man. As someone that's right here in Iowa, this up and down weather is something else here in Iowa. But Coach mentioned he did mention that HSAA that you are, you're the leadership group part of that, president, and what that is for those that don't know, it's a group of us, student athletes from each of the 13 conference schools, and for you to lead that, represent not only Graceland but these young leaders in our wrestling community, not just wrestling community, but of athletes and individuals in general. I think it's just super cool. It represents the sport of wrestling very, very much. What does that mean to you to be a part of that, be a member of that group?
It means a lot. I mean, that was a huge source of growth for me this summer when that opportunity was presented. So to be able to represent not only Graceland wrestling, but also wrestlers as a whole, it means a lot to me. It brings positive light to our sport, and for going forward for the future, I'm just excited to keep on building on everything that we've created so far, and keep pushing that envelope of what we can do and how we can make not only our school a better culture, but also the Heart Conference as a whole.
Has wrestling helped you be that leader within that organization?
100%. 100%. I think I attribute wrestling most to my personal growth and personal development, especially since I've gotten to Graceland and been able to be surrounded by just high character coaches and high character wrestlers like Joe Lupton. So I think that I would attribute all the hard work and everything that we have to go through, from 2-a-days to cutting weight to discipline, and the war of attrition that comes with that mentally. And I think that has been able to be the backbone of everything that I've done going forward with the ASA.
What are the highlights like for you with that? Like, what is it that, I mean, because it's just something that's outside of the wrestling room, right? Like get your mind off of the grind of the wrestling season. So is there like a highlight that you're like, man, that was just really cool?
With the ASA,
Yes.
I think we're still in the very early stages of it so far, but the highlight that I've had so far, we went to our group conference over the summer with the other Heart Conference presidents, and just being able to mesh with them and form relationships and bonds with them has been cool. And then it's been nice to form camaraderie amongst the Graceland University athletes when we've had our heart meetings. So even though we haven't had our first event yet, I've been very excited and very happy with achieving that unity from a campus perspective.
Yeah. Coach, I mean, have you just hearing him kind of talk just about something other than just like the wrestling program, right? Is it reassuring that, you recruited the right guy, you got the right guy leading your program as captain?
Oh, definitely, Tony. I mean, there's a reason why, I named him a team captain. There's a reason why, when it came up for him to be a part of, Graceland's ASA, in that council and be a president, I threw his name in the ring. He exemplifies everything, a team captain and a leader on this campus should be. And, it's been evident, I think, to everybody involved with him in ASA, exactly, the kind of guy he is and the way he leads.
And Ryan, we asked coaches kind of how preseason's going and getting you guys ready. As someone that looks at his teammates as a leader, how are you feeling guys are doing this year compared to last year? What are some changes maybe you've seen in your teammates?
I think this year, obviously, we brought in a lot of recruits, and we had a lot of our leaders and a lot of our older guys leave last year through graduation. So I think that the thing I've been most impressed with has been the way that they've bonded. I see the young guys bonding in a way that even me, when I was a freshman here with my teammates, who I still love to this day, like we didn't bond as strongly as they have. And then they've bought in right away. And buying into that culture, a culture that works, a culture that is proven, I think having that buy-in at such an early stage in the season is huge for growth. And I just can't say enough positive things about those young guys because, as I've said, they've kind of embraced the suffering of the preseason and how hard we work and the grind. They've embraced the grind. They've smiled through the pain, and that's just a wonderful thing. And it sets a wonderful precedent for how hard we can work in the room.
Coach, you've been with the program for a while. You've been around the sport of wrestling for a while, and not only is coaching hard in the heart, it's hard in the NIA, it's hard across the country, right? And facilities are a big part of that, of getting recruits on the campus. And obviously, you got 20 of them, so the administration is doing the right things. You obviously are doing right things with your program. Can you just speak a little bit on maybe your administration and how important they have been in the role of, helping you guys with facilities and making it attractive for guys like Ryan to move from Florida to Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, our AD as well as our president, I mean, that they get it, that they're about our student athletes and experience that they deserve. And that they've been crucial in, allowing me to operate in the way that, I can drive this program, to its highest heights. We got a wrestling room, a wrestling facility that we're proud of that in, year two, we opened up and has been our home. And since then, I mean, there's been renovations all across campus from our the Newcomb Student Union to our gym renovation that just happened in the last year. If you come to a home duel, it's an awesome atmosphere. New surround sound, new lighting, new bleachers, new center court and scoreboard. And we got a walkout tent and fog machines and the lights going and walkout songs. So we tried to do it as big for a small school can. And that a lot of it, it speaks to our administration, our president, our AD, allowing us to make this an environment that our athletes can succeed in.
And coach, I know that athletics is what you're there for, right? That's your head coach, right? That's your job. But from what I've gathered from the coaches, through the media days, academics are also at that high level of what you have expectations for your athletes as well. Can you just touch a little bit on, you know, how involved you are with academics, specifically with your team. And then, you know, Graceland is too, is making sure that's an important part of the growth of your team, you know, for when they get out of here, when they leave Graceland.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things that I push as a head coach. You know, we were, you know, academic national champs in 2020, and we set a vision every year with our leadership group of what we want to accomplish, and that's always the top of the list. Is how can we get back there? What do we need to do to, you know, propel ourselves towards the top of that list? Not just because, you know, of a trophy or because of the title, but because of what it does for these students when they leave here. You know, provides them a background and, you know, an education that can support them, you know, in their journey. It provides them also a resume that they can go out and they can be proud of, and, you know, people will notice. So, you know, a lot of what we do, not just academically, but just, you know, as a team, you know, we talk about, you know, life skills. We've been bringing in, you know, speakers to talk to our team about, you know, various life skills, whether it's financial literacy or it's, you know, their, you know, belief in relationship with God. You know, there's a lot of different things we're trying to do that is beyond wrestling, because, you know, wrestling, unless, you know, you're a wrestling coach like me, you know, wrestling's done at some point. And even for me, you know, there's so many things that go into me being a wrestling coach and impacting these lives that goes far beyond those four walls every day at 4 o'clock. So we really try to emphasize, you know, the academic part, but as well as a lot of different areas in their lives.
Absolutely. Ryan, what are you going to school for?
I'm majoring in criminal justice,
Okay. All right. What weight class?
141.
All right.
I was a 133 as a freshman, a little skin and bones, but
Yeah, there you go. What do you hope to do? What do you hope to do with that criminal justice? You want to be taking down, you know, robbers, or what's the deal?
you know, I'm not entirely sure right now. If I'm being 100% honest, I definitely have had, you know, a little bit of growth and mental maturity and kind of understanding more of who I am as a person now. So there's definitely been a couple classes that I've had that I've really enjoyed that necessarily haven't been in a criminal justice area, like my research methods class. I really enjoy everything we do from there with sampling and populations and stuff like that. So I'd be lying if I said I had 100% uh, a 100% complete vision of what my career looks like, but I know I'm definitely in the right direction with you know, my heart and mind. So
Coach, you know, obviously we've talked a lot about Ryan and gotten to meet him, and, you know, basically, you know, how he represented himself, and then also your program. What are some of these impact wrestlers that you're going to go to as well, that, you know, some people in the heart should be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty blessed that we've got two returning national qualifiers. One in Jack Swinburne. He had that COVID year that everybody got back, that he decided to try to make another run at a national title. He's ranked 9th in the country right now, two-time national qualifier. And then John Shuttler at 197, returning national qualifier as well. And you know, in that group of 20, you know, there's some names in there that a lot of people don't know. You know, I think that, you know, can really make a splash. Jet Nelson at 165, you know, is a guy that's wrestled at multiple JUCO national tournaments. Joseph Tegua at 174 has wrestled in multiple national tournaments at the JUCO level. You know, and then we got some returners that we're pretty excited about that have kind of been stuck behind, you know, some guys like David Twissy at heavyweight and Joe Lupton, you know, at 133. So, you know, I think some of those guys will kind of rise to the occasion, and we're pretty excited about the group that we have right now.
Well, Coach, and Ryan, I really appreciate you guys joining, you know, here for Media Day, and best of luck this season.
thank you.
Thank you, Tony.